Thank you. And welcome again. This is our fifth and the last webinar in this series. And we are rethinking the whole process. And I need your guidance and advice. But when we end this today, tell me what you would like to see in the future. Not for you, but for the other candidates who are waiting in line. What I'm going to do today is to uh, repeat everything I've said for the last 4 weeks. Salient points, not everything, but salient points, so that it hammers into you and you understand the value of everything. I am not going to spend much time on this course, USMLE scores, attempts, you all know that. I'm not going to spend time on what is ERAS, what is ECFMG, what is match program. You know all that. I told you on day one to look at the website of those institutions and learn as much as you can. You need to learn that. But I am going to spend some time to how you prepare your CV or your ERAS application to the point that it will attract the program directors to invite you for interview. So that is the part one. Assuming that you have written your application well, correctly, no typos, no spelling mistakes, clean, truthful, that will take you to interview. So your first hurdle is going to be to get an interview. Once you get the interview, there is a different life. You have to know how to interview, what to do, and what not to do. And I'm going to give you a list of things you need to know what not to do. Because many people, you have no idea how many people make this mistake. They get advice from their seniors, couple of years seniors, which is a mistake. It's okay to ask your friends what is it all about, but you need to get advice from senior people like me who have spent 50 years into this business. And they are there. They are there in your medical school, they are there during your rotations. Make friends and start working with them because that is where you will get the truth. You don't want to be under some impression. For example, the common mistake people make is they are all focused on research. Excuse me for a moment, I want to close the door because there's a lot of noise here. And we will talk about research in a minute, but there is a lot of misconception about research. For you to, you have limited time. Remember that one thing you do not have is time, particularly when you start measuring time from the day of graduation. Now, I was just talking to Dr. Patel. He graduated in 2018, correct, Dhruva? And that is a long time. So now
Yes,
it's
correct.
2025, and you're applying for 2026. That's a big gap. So you need to, and then you say, well, you did research. What kind of research did you do? So it has to match. Your, there's nothing wrong with graduating in 18 and applying for 26. There's nothing wrong with that. But then you have to convince the program director that those years were spent very wisely. So let us go over the whole situation I talked to you in the last 4 weeks. Number one, your personal statement. I asked you if you feel comfortable, you can send me your personal statement. I'll be happy to review it, add, subtract, give you suggestions. Just because I say so doesn't mean it is true. But I will give you my opinion on personal statement because in reality, most program directors do not read personal statements. They go over this quickly. So you have to write a personal statement which will attract somebody's attention very quickly. And I told you the three principles of writing anything that goes back to Aristotle thousands of years ago. Ethos, pathos, and logos. So it should be logical, It should be pathos, means it has to have a feelings, and it should be ethical. So follow those guidelines and you will be happy to write a personal statement. I also recommended that you work with your English teacher, if possible, high school English teacher or college English teacher or somebody who knows English much better than you and I know, and have them correct it. You'll be amazed how many things they can improve by reviewing your. It will cost you few dollars at most. It's not expensive, but I would prepare the personal statement, and please don't write it too long. Nobody has time to read it. Make it quick, simple, truthful. Do not say anything you haven't done. It has to be truthful. If you have failed at something in your college or high school, don't be afraid to say so. It's okay. Honesty is always valued. So if you failed, let's say you played cricket and you did not get into the team for some reason, you will say that I wanted to be a cricket player, but I could not, or something of that sort. That is always refreshing. So personal statement, be very careful about what you write, because somebody in the program is going to read it. The program director may not. And if there are statements you have made, be prepared to answer them. If you say something and they will ask you, well, what does this mean? Particularly in research. If you write that you did research on A, B, or C, they will ask you, explain to me what B was. And you should be able to articulate that feeling right away, quickly. I told you about the personal portfolio. I showed you a copy of that. Here, this is written by one of our residents, and everything you are is in it. It's better than your CV, better than your letter of recommendation. And it should be artistic, it should be clean, and it should be very professional. That's why we call it personal, professional portfolio. And that is your work. That's who you are. You can tell me that you did rotation in some village, in some country, and you saw 100 patients. I don't know that. Put it in your portfolio with a picture, with 100 people under a tree and you watching them. Something like that. Be imaginative and write, create a portfolio. I think those, how many of you have been to St. Peter's? I see Ishana and I see Dr. Patel.
Sir,
St. Peter's, pardon?
I've also been to St. Peter's.
Yeah, okay. Did you write a portfolio?
Yes, sir, I've submitted my portfolio.
Okay, and it is approved by Joni?
Yes, sir, it was approved by Joni.
Okay, then keep that with you and somehow make sure that during your interview that is projected. It's a very important, it's much better than any letter of recommendation. And also, when you ask for a letter of recommendation to, let's say, Dr. Jones, make sure that he or she has their portfolio. Because he may know you, but he may not know you enough to write a letter. So show them the portfolio, say, sir, I have done this, please review it and give me advice. People love to give advice. So ask for advice. So reach to the highest point in your surroundings. Don't go through an intern or a resident. It's okay to ask interns and residents, but I think you need to go to the higher level. The chair of the department, the program director, associate program director, etc. We talked about language. And if there's one thing I want to emphasize to you, which will carry you far away, is your language. I also told you that many of us, including me, have this notion in our mind that we, because we come from India or Pakistan or Bangladesh, with English is the basic, we think think that we speak good English. And I will tell you that we don't. We don't. The speech is not just knowing subject, object, and verb. Speech is much more than that. And you need to practice, you need to understand. If you speak good English, but if I cannot hear you, what good is it? And what is the common flaw with us, South Asians? Well, what is our problem? Does anybody know? We talked about this. Does anybody know
Speak
what
first.
problem? Go ahead.
First speaking.
Can't hear you.
First speaking. First speaking.
Not quite. We are not heard. We mumble.
We don't speak from the diaphragm.
Sorry?
We don't. You speak from the diaphragm.
Exactly. Exactly. You got the right term. God gave us two diaphragms for breathing and for creating speech. Think about all wild animals. Tiger, lion. Why is lion's roar is always appreciated? In every religion, in every culture, a lion is considered number one because of his sound creates. When he creates a sound, you may not know this, but the animals on the tree, 500 feet above, they fall down. They're so afraid. And then he kills them and eats them. That is all sound. Killing some animal by sound. Now, I'm not asking you to kill somebody by sound, but when you speak, you need to be understood so that you do not speak from your clavicle. I told you the story about me going and meeting President Kennedy's teacher. And she told me within 1 minute, the doctor, you are speaking from your clavicle. Speak from your diaphragm. And that will remain with me for the rest of my life because I try to. It's not easy as you think. Practice, practice, practice. Anybody knows soprano? We talked about this. Anyone interested in sopranos? Sopranos are the opera singers. What is common amongst them? You may not have gone there, but what is common if I show you 10 sopranos? What is the common thing? They're all big women, huge women, large. And why they are large? Because you need big diaphragms. Remember, the opera came 1,000 years ago. There were no mics, there was no electricity. So they had to sing and project the voice so that the last guy in the audience, 500,000, will be able to hear. The only way they could do that is by singing from the diaphragm. This is practical. This is for you and me. So when you speak to me, now you don't have to be so loud that it is irritating. You need to control your voice, but please work on your voice. It's extremely important. And slow down. Indian languages are fast languages. And even today, after being in this country for 65 years, I speak English with Gujarati in it. And I try to eliminate that, but it's not possible. It comes out, particularly when I'm excited, when I'm upset, it comes out. And when you go for an interview, you are excited, you are upset, you are nervous. There's nothing wrong with that. How would you address that? Practice. Practice, practice, practice. Get your friend and say, okay, you interview me and go through a mock interview as we did 2 weeks ago here. So, but without a practice, you will not be able to. Anybody plays cricket here? Or ping pong? How do you get better? Practice.
Yes.
Practice, right? You can't go on day one and become a champion. You have to practice for hours and hours. Anybody plays musical instrument? Any one of you? Do you know, I'm asking you now, how long it takes to become a master musician, let's say piano. Do you know the research behind it and do you know how long it takes? Give me a number. X number of months, weeks, years, whatever.
Depends on the person, talent.
Of course, you're right. It does depend on the person. Yeah, absolutely. It depends on the environment, who teaches you. Yeah, you. But there is one element which has been proven to be true across the board in any sport, in any music, in any writing, anything. And there is a famous guy behind it. His name is Emerson. You can Google him and find out. And he did research and said it takes 12 years of dedicated time to become a master of anything. Whether it's a piano, it's a tennis, it's cricket, whatever it is, 12 years. Now in medical school, you spend about 2,700 hours, nowhere near 10 years. So even if you are a doctor, MBBS or MD, you are nowhere near perfection. Residency will add another 2,000 hours. You are still not there. So practice is important and you can practice and change your life. So I would strongly recommend that you practice speech. And I think I gave you a website called Toastmaster. Anybody has looked at it? Please don't ignore that. Look at the Toastmaster. Somebody is telling me something. Kaushik, FNU to everyone. Yes, okay. I would recommend that you join the Toastmaster Club. It is all over the country, particularly if you live in a university town like New Brunswick. It's almost free. They do charge some money, but it is very small. And it is live. You can go there and participate, or you can do it via Zoom. I would recommend that you do it live, if possible. If you're in New Brunswick, they run a club in Highland Park, which is almost walking distance. I also talk about Spanish. Now, I cannot emphasize more on Spanish than I already have. I think it is an absolutely essential skill you need to acquire if you already have not acquired. Because this country's today second language is Spanish. But for you, it will be the first language. Because you will be serving a population which is poor, which is compromised, they do not have insurance, so they come to what is called the clinic. Every hospital in this country runs a free or semi-free clinic. And residents take care of these people along with the faculty. So let's say you go to the clinic on Monday morning and you have 12 patients scheduled that day. I can guarantee you now that out of 12, 10 will be speaking only Spanish. So what they do, the hospitals give you a little gadget to translate. It's completely useless. You are dealing with human feelings and you are going to translate feelings from one language to another one. Doesn't work. We use it every day and it seems to be okay, but it's not okay. But imagine now that you learn Spanish fluently, not one or two words, fluently. You have spent some time in a Spanish speaking country and lived with the Spanish speaking people in their homes and acquired the cultural acumen from them. Imagine coming back to America and using that for your patients. It's a life changing event. And I gave you one website. There are many. You can Google yourself and find out which one is suitable for you. But the one and I did a lot of research on this, by the way. I didn't just write down a website. And that is called Maximo Nivel, Maximo Nivel. It is situated in 3 countries. It is situated in Guatemala, Costa Rica, and Peru. I have been to Guatemala several times, so I know the people and the culture. In a city called, I forget the name of the city, but it's a beautiful Spanish city, Antigua. And it's worth going, people going on vacation. Peru is very well known, even for medicine. Peru, beautiful country. And Costa Rica, I think all of you know, is a beautiful country. The cost is reasonable, I believe. I think there is a brochure on my website from this school. Their expertise is to teach Spanish and Spanish culture, acculturation in Spanish, and you go for anywhere from 1 week to 2 months. It depends upon you, depends upon the cost, but I would very strongly recommend that you sign up. I looked into the visa situation. If you are coming from South Asian countries and you have a visitor's visa to United States, those three governments will give you a tourist visa to stay there for X amount of time. So please, if you haven't, I want you to look at it. When you come back and when your application comes up to the program director, and you state in that program, in that application, that you need acculturation in Peru for 4 weeks, your application is up on the top automatically. That's what I used to do. When I used to recruit people until 2 years ago, if they spoke Spanish, their application automatically, irrespective of their scores, attempts, went up. Not that we took them, but it did go up because it is an essential skill, absolutely essential skill. So I hope you look at the Maximo program and use it. That will take you high. Any questions so far? So let's talk about interview. I think you know everything I'm going to tell you, but I want to repeat. Interview tests you for your interpersonal skills. It doesn't test you for your medical knowledge or clinical skills or anything of that sort. Very rarely they will ask you a medical question. And the typical question is, tell me about a case you remember vividly. So you need to be prepared with a case, 2 cases at least, where you saw the patient, hands-on participation, took care of the patient, outcome, literature behind it, etc. So be prepared to do that. Because you don't know much, you have 3 minutes with the program director to make a decision on his part. Sounds very odd, but that's the truth. So you have to be prepared and fluent in that. Don't fumble on that ground. You already know they're going to ask you. The first thing in an interview, because most interviews are now conducted on Zoom, make sure that your connections work. You have no idea how many times people fumble and do not show up because the connections did not work. Internet is not easily available in many countries. So you have to make sure that you are very good at it and be on time. Do not be late. Prepare questions to ask. You are not going there as a beggar. You are going there as a fellow physician. If I interview you, the only difference between you and me is the number of years we have spent in medicine. I have spent 50 plus years, you have spent maybe 1 year. That's the only difference. Otherwise, you are a fellow physician. And that's how you should be treated, and that's how you expect to be treated. But your expectation is not going to work if you don't show up and show your strength. So you have to speak clearly, loudly, properly. You have to research the institute. So if you're going to Hospital X, you need to Google Hospital X ahead of time and find out what is it all about. Does it have any particular fame for anything? Who is the program director? What has he or she written in literature? They find out that. Is the hospital known for anything particular? For example, if you went to St. Peter's for an interview, St. Peter's where I come from, so I will make a reference to St. Peter's in New Brunswick, New Jersey. You should know that streptomycin was discovered in New Brunswick. That was a huge challenge tuberculosis. There was no treatment. But a fellow by name Waxman at Rutgers discovered streptomycin. He's famous for it. You should know that. Your program director may not know that, but you should know that. So research each program and each program director and make a question, a simple question. Can you tell me about your research on X or something like that? Do not ask questions which can be easily answered by looking at Google. For example, I always laugh at this. One student came from Philadelphia. Very good school, Jefferson, good grades, good marks, very presentable young chap. And yeah, I said, "You have any questions?" He said, "What is the weather like here?" Think about it. Is that necessary to ask in your 3 minutes and you waste your time by asking me weather in from Philadelphia to New Brunswick? Now, obviously, it was an error, but you need to make sure that you don't spit out a question just for the sake of asking. Always listen to what the program director is asking and answer that question. I know many of you will have a scripted outcome. You prepare the answer ahead of time. Please don't do it because you will be mistaken. You will answer a question not to his liking. So don't be scripted, be natural. Don't underestimate who you are. You are a physician. You are a highly educated person. 99% of US population has less education than you are. Think about the amount of time you have spent from kindergarten till now. Very few people are lucky enough to do that. You are there. It doesn't matter whether you're coming from United States, India, Africa, Middle East, it doesn't matter. Protoplasm is same everywhere. So be aware of that. You don't have to be cocky, but you don't have to be meek also. Just in the middle. Maintain an eye contact. Difficult to do it on Zoom, but look straight into the eyes and talk. Your clothing should be convenient, comfortable, doesn't have to be overdressed, doesn't have to be underdressed. Don't wear that funny hat and things like that. People do that. Backward. Don't do that. Be professional. You are a doctor. Look like a doctor, act like a doctor, talk like a doctor. That's how people expect you to do. And you are perfectly capable of doing it. I can tell you that. Having gone through literally thousands of applicants in my life, I know you can do it. But you have to prepare for it. Show enthusiasm. I told you the word meaning of enthusiasm, right? Anybody remembers that? What is enthusiasm? Where did the word come from?
Comes from the word theos, means God.
Theos means God, and means in. So when God is
Yeah,
in you,
within.
you are enthusiastic. So what is God? Your God may be different than my God, but God is energy. You know, why do people worship sun? Many cultures, Egyptians, Hindus, they worship sun. Why is that? Because the energy, it never fades away. Why do people worship snakes? In some countries, snakes are worshipped because it is lethal. It bites you, you die. It is power. So enthusiasm is infectious. You need to show enthusiasm by your behavior, by your speech, by your expression, by your clothing, by your posture. All those things are matter. And people may not tell you, but they will notice. So show enthusiasm. If you have gaps in your CV, let's say you graduated in 2018, I think one of our friends here, 18, and then he went through a cycle of number of things. You need to explain why. Gap is not an issue. What you did within the gap is an issue. So be prepared to answer. For example, if you took a gap because somebody was sick in your family and you wanted to assist your mother, we have had candidates who unfortunately had their parent die. It's unfortunate, but there's nothing wrong with that. That's commendable that you were able to take 2 years off to help your dying mother. So make something good out of a gap rather than apologize. You do not need to apologize. So be prepared to answer that question why there is a gap. Do not ask during interview, do not schedule, salary, benefits, and all what goes vacations. There is a no. You can get that information from their website. You need to know how much they're going to pay you, but please do not ask the program director or the chief resident because that is considered to be low level of training. So you can find that information some other way. Do not ask the secretary. You have no idea how much power the secretaries have. If you annoy them, you are out. So be very professional with everyone. Everyone has been asked during interview to watch you. Even the intern who sits with you in the morning when you go and have coffee and you are sort of loose, don't. They are watching you. And not only they are watching you, they are reporting you to the program director after you leave. So be normal. Be normal. Just like if I came to your house, how would you treat me? Like a guest. So be a good guest. Don't make comments which may be considered to be an issue. That brings me to the social media and the other things many people do nowadays. Clean it up. They will go into your social media and they will look for any problems. This is now a standard. Colleges, it became a standard 5 years ago. In residencies, now it is coming up. Everybody goes into the websites, social media, and look at your profile. And if there is something not right, fix it. Issue comes up with research. People ask me, is research necessary? The answer is yes and no. It is not necessary because it is not defined. But it would be nice to have research. But then real question is, what is research? What kind of research? To do research, meaningful research, you need time, long time. How much? 3 to 5 years. This will shock you. And you say, well, I've spent 5 years in medical school. I've been waiting for residency for another 5 years. How many years do I spend? Well, you are, I'm sorry, you are in your mid-20s, maybe early 30s. Your time. In the long time, how many years a physician practices in the United States after finishing training? Do you know? Practices. Let's say you become an internal medicine doctor. How many years after you finish your residency, let's not talk about specialty, just internal medicine. How many years do you think you will practice? Give me a number.
So 30 to 40 years.
Okay, good. Anybody else? It's about 45 years. Physicians do not retire. It's changing now. You probably will retire, but it is changing. But 45 years. So when you're talking about a career of 45 years after your residency, what's the big deal about spending 2 or 3 years in research? You have time. But doing a research, a case presentation is useless. Nobody is interested in your case presentation. They will read it. And now the new thing has come up is called what is called mining of data. You know what I'm talking about? Where you purchase a program from government usually, so they will give you a disk with 150,000 patients with atrial fibrillation data. And that is yours. And then you dig into that data, that's called mining, and you produce a paper. From my point of view, and I'm the exception, many program directors may like it, but I threw away. Anytime I saw mining, it went directly into the garbage. Because first of all, you're not even an internist yet. How can you mine the data? How many atrial fibrillations have you seen so far? Maybe one in medical school? So mining, 5 people combine together and they mine the data and produce a paper. I consider it as a fake paper. You may want to do it, I have no objection, but I would not consider that as a priority. If you do research, you should do a longitudinal research. Join a university such as Yale, Harvard, UCLA, famous university, and you may have to do it for free for a year or so. And it should lead to a conclusion at the end. Now, 2 of my residents have done that. I have put them on my website, their names. One is Dukas. He got his PhD this year. Imagine that. PhD in some bioscience from Yale University. That's significant. Can you do it? Yeah, if you want to. And if you're ready to invest time, energy, disappointments, failures, you can do it. But I would not go for this case report on a Saturday morning or sitting with 5 people and mining data. That's useless, completely useless. So make up your mind what you want to do. And that takes me to MPH. I think one of you is doing an MPH right now, correct? Who is doing MPH? I think I met somebody. Yes.
I'm doing an MPH.
Okay, that's a smart move. And particularly if you focus on epidemiology and biostatistics, these are not known sciences. And internal medicine doctors should know that. A robust MPH is worth its weight in gold. But and so I'm glad you're doing it and do the maximum use of that. And where are you doing it? What
It's a Monroe
It's-
University in New York.
Okay. Very good. And it's a hybrid program.
Yes.
Is part Zoom, part live.
Yes, hybrid,
Okay.
yes. In person
Okay, good.
class.
Very good. You can do MPH, you can do MHA, Master in Healthcare Administration. You can do IHI. IHI is Institute for Healthcare Improvement. Look up their website. They have 2 modules, quality and safety. Each one has 12 to 15 little modules. You can do them in about 1 hour, each module. And if you do certain numbers, I don't remember the number, you can then get a certificate that you have finished quality program, you have finished safety program, you have finished quality and safety, and then you sit for the board exam. Do not do it if you don't sit for the board exam. Because if you don't get a certificate at the end of your time, then it is of no value. So, for example, you're doing MPH now, Dr. Patel, you must get a certificate of MPH. You cannot drop out at the end. And same thing about IHI, quality, safety. So imagine you're going for an interview and you say to the program director that I'm halfway through IHI curriculum. You're up there right away. Because even the program director probably doesn't know what IHI is. These are little known facts, but you need to make sure that you, and it is not costly. It is not time consuming. You can do it at home, but you need to make an attempt. So in the plan B, which I call, you have lots of options, and you can make your portfolio very good looking, very attractive to the program director. What program directors are looking for? Do you know? Does anybody know? They did a survey of all the program directors in the USA. And they asked, what are you looking for in a candidate like you? Does anybody know what was the number one topic?
Sir, a good history
Go on.
and examination,
Very good.
and
Very good.
uh,
I did not expect that answer from you because nobody knows that. But you're right. That's what I think it was 89% of the program directors wanted a candidate to be a good, proficient, capable history taking, physical exam, and communication. Now, is there any program, anything you can do to improve that? You already learned something in medical school. We know that. But medical school does not teach you real history and real physical exam. They teach you basics. So between now and July, when you match, what can you do to improve your history taking skills, physical exam skills, and communication skills?
so there are courses like you've already told us about Stanford 25. We can view those videos, watch all of those videos, and learn upon that, and then actually apply that in practical knowledge and build our cases according to that. So
Very good. Stanford 25 is a must for you. And you should put it predominantly on your CV and make sure that the program director knows that you have gone through Stanford 25. And there are many others. The Royal College of Physicians in London, Edinburgh, and Glasgow puts out YouTube videos of their PACES exam. If I were you, I would watch every is a 6 to 8 minute each video. How to examine for reflexes, how to examine cranial nerves, how to examine heart sounds, those kind of things. Play with it. It is like a toy. Play with it. And make sure playing with it is not going to help you. You have to make sure that the program director knows that. You will be amazed. I also recommend, I don't know where you are now, in America or India or Pakistan, wherever, to do the MRCP program. Member of the Royal College of Physicians. It is, you are eligible for that. To get the FRCP, you have to pass step 1, not step 1, they call it something else, 1, 2, and then PACES. 1 and 2 are written exam, multiple choice, just like any exam. And you are eligible right away. St. Peter's, by the way, gives that exam there. We are one of the centers. But then you don't get MRCP. You have to pass PACES, PACES, Practical Assessment of Clinical Examination Skills. And that is a clinical exam. You see 8 patients, there are 2 examiners in every station. St. Peter's does that, but it is don't get credit. But we just did it a month ago. We do it twice a year. And there is a long queue to get into it. So you may have to go to Jamaica or you may have to go to Nepal or someplace to get the exam. But it is worth its weight in gold. If you do the MRCP, even part 1 and 2, you are ahead of the game. So I would spend my time on those things rather than some suboptimal rotations in doctors' offices. Because I think many of you do these so-called observerships. It has a value, but does not have much value. 1 or 2 good observership is all you need to know the American scene. But don't waste time of doing 8 or 10 or 15, because now it has become a market. People are charging a lot of money for observerships. They are charging money for letter of recommendation, which is illegal and unethical. You should not spend $1 for a letter of recommendation. If somebody does it, it's illegal. I can tell you that. Absolutely tell you that. So be careful about who you pay and how much. Any questions so far? How many of you are prepared to go into a PhD program or master's program? Nobody. I told you on day 1 that by the time we finish this, I will make you very uncomfortable. That is my goal. And if I succeeded in making you uncomfortable, then I'm happy. You should not be comfortable in what you are doing. You should be more uncomfortable. By God, all these things are there and I'm not using it. I can tell you from my experience, I've been in this business for a very long time. I worked for 65 years before I retired. You can imagine that amount, number of students, residents, faculty I've gone through. And many of you simply have no idea what is ahead of you. If I told you what are you going to do on July 1, 2026, probably you will say I will start a residency. But if I ask you what are you going to do on July 1, 20 years from now, you don't know what the answer is. But it will come. And you should be prepared for that. 10 years from now, 20 years from now, don't have a limited goal of July 1 next year. The last thing I want to address is, and I don't know whether any one of you qualifies, is now there is a new category of international medical graduates. We have a foreign medical graduate, FMG, which is now redundant. We have IMG, that is the current term, international medical graduate. I am one of them. And now there is a third category, internationally trained graduates, ITGs. 21 states, the last time I checked, about 2 weeks ago, are now giving license to ITGs. So for example, if you are coming from India and you did an MD, the real MD, 3 years of residency, passed the exam, passed your USMLE 1, 2, and 3, and got a license in India to practice medicine, unlimited, you are now eligible to get a limited license in 21 states in the United States. And after X amount of, every state is different, after an X amount of work under supervision in those states, they will give you a full license to practice without residency. Not a bad deal. Why am I telling you this? You may want to rethink going back home and doing an MD, a formal postgraduate degree in India. I know nobody wants to hear me this. They say, oh, I'm here now, I would rather finish. Why? Why not do it in New Delhi or Lahore or Mumbai or someplace? It's the same education, same human body, same science, and then you come here and then you get into licensure. Keep this in mind. Don't ignore it. Don't undervalue your home resources. Anything doing home high class, there are some suboptimal things back home too, but there are some excellent institutions in those countries where you should take advantage of. Any questions so far? We are approaching our closer time, and I'll talk to you about that. In Plan B, I may not have mentioned that there are certain skills you can learn now if you are there, such as removing wax from the ear. That's a skill. It's an important skill because nobody knows how to do it in real practice. Giving intravascular injection. I was amazed to see a third-year resident, and we had a flu campaign. So I asked her to go and give flu shots. She said, I don't know how. 3 years in residency, 5 years in medical school, and did not know how to give an intramuscular injection. You can learn it in 1 minute, but learn it and state it on your CV that you can give intramuscular and intravenous injections. I did emphasize on epidemiology and statistics. Please get a certificate on both, even if you don't do a full MPH. You must get a certificate. I told you about IHI, MPH. Any questions? I have questions for you. Was this 5 seminars useful, number one, to you? Was it useful? And number two, more important, when I repeat this in January, what should I do or what should I not do? I need your help. I need your guidance. Was it useful?
Dr. Kothari, it was definitely very useful, but as I mentioned last time, I wish we knew this before. So you
Of
just
course.
mentioned in January you're going to be repeating it, right? So
Yes.
I have like few observers. We like the two Dr. Patel and Dr. Singh over here in the webinar. I remember having a discussion with Dr. Singh about this, where he mentioned we could maybe try to help by getting more students involved, because by January even we'll be like done with the interview season, and maybe we can like a lot of juniors start reaching us, but instead of us guiding us, I mean guiding them, we need the guidance from someone who's already been in this for that many years like you. We can try to maybe get more audience involved, medical students, and if I think reaching out to the right audience at the right time is probably something like we can definitely try to help out with. But
I
it's
would very
definitely
much,
useful. I wish I had this knowledge before.
yeah, I very much like your help because I am, as you can see, I am very passionate about this personally. This is not something I'm doing for a job or some money or fame. None of that stuff appeals me anymore. I've done everything in my life what I wanted to. But now I thought about it and I was thinking that if I were to apply all over again for internship, I would not get in. I would not get in. I did not have high scores. I passed the exam, did not have the high score. I knew nothing about speech. I mumbled most of my life. Um, didn't care much about the appearance. Didn't do any of this stuff I am telling you. But over years, I have learned a lot. And I feel badly that international graduates are considered to be less than what they are. Unfortunately, it is better now. When we came, we were told upfront, don't come here. You're not welcome. I was told that myself. I went to get a residency at University of Buffalo, and he told me, he said, we don't take foreign graduates. That it is a crime to say that. Now, in the United States, you can't say that. But that's what I was told at University of Buffalo by a very famous professor. And our generation, remember that I came in 1963. Our generation tolerated that. But then came next generation, our children, and they are all over now. I think I told you the story. I was invited to speak at a Drexel graduation program, convocation. Drexel had at that time 250 student class because there are two medical schools combined together. So 250 students, their fathers and mothers and uncles and aunts and everybody in a huge auditorium. I was asked to speak, a convocation speech. So when I'm getting ready to speak, they give me a little brochure. It listed 250 students' names from A to Z. There were 27 Patels. Think about that. So I asked the dean, Dean Homan, I said, Dr. Homan, what happened? These are all Patels. He said, well, you guys have taken over. So there is a recognition that there is a force, and I'm glad about that. I'm Indian, I will remain Indian. I have a sympathy and empathy for people who come from Southeast Asia, and I want to do something and expose their talent. That's what it is. So if you can send me emails, suggestions, I will be grateful to you. Anytime you can work with me. I think you have my email. Send an email anytime. If I could be of any help to you in any way, you know how to contact me. I live in Florida now. I don't know long-term goals, but I just arrived here 5 months ago. Anybody has anything to say?
Sir, I definitely would like to thank you for this session because there have been a lot of the things like coming into like applying. This is my first year applying this time, and I believe every point that you told me and every area of aspect that you told we need to improve upon isn't something that anyone else is talking around. In fact, whenever we're talking to other faculties or we're talking to other people who are in the system to actually everyone is just following the same path and all of them have the same outline of doing the same things in the similar way, so there's nothing to make them stand out. But with you, whatever you told us and whatever ways we can improve, like everything was something to make us stand out of the normal crowd. And I believe maybe 1 year before, like Dr. Kaur said, like if I had these opportunities 1 year before, then definitely there would haven't been anything that I would have missed out of this. So I think reaching out to my juniors and informing them that there is such an opportunity and that there are people like you who are ready to help out, and it's literally like hand holding and teaching and guiding that you've been doing us for the past month. So I believe a lot of the students can help out with that. And in fact, I reached out to you on your email also with respect to that. So if you get time, so we can revert back on that. But thank you so much.
Well, thank you. Thank you for staying with me for the last few seminars. And I am looking forward to starting again in January after the holidays. But any input you give me would be helpful because I don't want this to be just an exercise. I want this to be useful to you and to our community because you have talent. That much I can tell you. You do not know that, and you should not know that, how talented you are, but you have talent. Because once upon a time, I was just like you, knew nothing, absolutely knew nothing. But here I am now, at the end of my career, and I want to do something which is useful. I'm going to write it up and maybe a newsletter. See, remember that for the international graduates who are not in residency, like you, have no person, no spokesman, no organization, nothing. Once you enter the program, there are plenty of people helping you. But until then, you're looking in the windows. And that is not a comfortable feeling. You are not in, you are out, and they make sure that you know you are out. And it is degrading at times when you go as a bio observer. And I feel very angry when I hear sometimes, or used to hear at St. Peter's, that one of the bio observers was not treated well. There is absolutely no room for that. We all are colleagues. The only difference I told you between you and me is the PGY year. That's all. There is no other difference. We are all doctors. And we are all for the same purpose. Things are better now for you. Your future is much brighter than what it was 10 years ago. So just have big ambitions and be willing to spend time. And write to me on my email any idea you may have. I'll be happy to respond. Okay?
Uh,
And thank you
Sir,
all.
just
Dr.
one more
Kothari,
suggestion. Oh, okay,
Yes, go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead.
Sir, I just wanted to say that maybe I know you have trained so many residents, and a lot of them are fellows and practicing doctors now. But maybe you could, reach out to them if someone could join you in these sessions once, maybe a couple of times, just to how they have implemented your values and all of your teachings in their day-to-day skills. And
I'm Dr. Singh, I'm ahead of you. We already have a list of faculty, top-notch, internationally known faculty who are going to participate in this. It's not going to be my solo attempt. I have lots of very highly performing of my graduates and others, my generation, who are willing and they're happy that I'm doing this. Because the organizations like the ACP, the American Medical Association, they have international graduate section. But after looking at it several times, I can tell you my opinion, personal opinion, they're bogus. They're not doing anything for you except to attract you to buy their internships, externships. They're not doing anything. I know the person in charge of that. He's a good friend of mine. And I told him that. I said, this is bogus. This is not where you attract. This is like in last century, America used to attract the Chinese laborers to do work on difficult tasks like laying the railroads. This is exploitation. This is not right. This is not right. To go to Brooklyn and pay $1,000 a week and then $900 for a letter of recommendation, I think it is criminal. But people do this and people pay. I don't know how Indian parents or Pakistani parents can afford that kind of money. I mean, $1 is something like 90 rupees.
yes, sir.
It's not right. Education, in my mind, I grew up in a family which believed that education should be free. There are lots of people in the world, I mean, if you go to Scandinavia, education is free. England, education is almost free. It's only in America you spend so much money for nothing. But this is a limited attempt for me to see whether I can be of any help. If I can change one life, that's enough for me.
Thank you,
uh,
sir.
Dr. Kothari, thank you so much for the wonderful five sessions. We have enjoyed a lot and we have learned lots of new things. I don't think any one of us were aware before about this. And also beyond these sessions, it helped me a lot when I visited the St. Peter's Hospital and I heard from Miss Lynn that you just converted the laundry into the library. So that all incident, like I was really inspired that how vision can change, like this much of big change can bring. So till now I was not I was looking for a mentor since 8 years, and my efforts are there. I wanted to become a resident in USA, but my efforts were scattered, and I never found the proper way and focus mentorship or anything. So I was not focused that much. But right now, I think I am getting what I needed, and it will help me a lot to do a better in my
Keep going, keep going. Somebody just send a message to share the email. I think Mr. Bush just published it. It is Nayan K Kothari at gmail.com. Don't forget the middle K. Nayan, Nayan, K, that's my middle name, Kothari, Kothari, at gmail.com. And you are welcome to send me any Gmail anytime.
Yeah.
Okay. Jimmy, thank you for all your help. Without that, I could not have done this. Thank you. Okay. All right. Good luck to all of you.
Thank you
Okay.
so much, Dr. Kothari.
Okay. Stay tuned for the announcement. It will come in by the end of this month. I'm still thinking how to do it, what to do it, what not to do, things like that. This is first for me. I never done this on this level. I've done it at St. Peter's on a small, limited scale, but this is big. So hopefully, I will be able to reach out to lots of people.
Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you
Kothari.
so much, Dr.
Please,
Kothari.
please
Thank you.
do this because we as students need it. It's like we go to conferences like RP as well and other conferences, and we go with the hope, oh, someone will guide us. But like it's just never met. But like someone at your position doing that for free, it's like a blessing in disguise. So I hope through email we can like come to know about the event whenever you finalize it. Will we be told? Because this time we came to know through Miss Lynn. Right now, we don't have any way we can come to know about the upcoming events.
I do not know how to do it, how to announce this, publicize it. I am not technically very good. I think Jimmy just wrote, we will email
Okay.
everyone. So,
Whoever, yes. Thank
yeah,
you.
Jimmy is going to do this.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr.
Then
Kothari.
we would definitely
We'll,
love
we'll
to
try
reach
our
out to
best to keep you informed.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Thank
your
you.
Thank
days.
you. Thank you,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
All right.
you.